Welcome to Damage Boost. I'm your host, Brok Holliday, and today we're talking Digimon. So let's jump into it. Alright, after a couple weeks, almost a month off, I'm back finally. I'm feeling good. And I wanted to have a very special guest for the first show back. And one who is, not only a good friend, but just talented person and the buffest person to be on Damage Boost. The most beefy, cakiest to be on Damage Boost. It's my buddy Carl.
Hey everybody. Oh man, dude, I'm blushing now. Thank you.
It is now tradition. I gotta butter my guest up, and not just because it's a funny bit, but because you guys are all good people and you deserve to be told how awesome you are.
Well, the same goes for you.
Well, I appreciate it, even though I hate myself constantly.
I mean, we all do, but okay, real quick. It's like I was talking to Char I5 about this the other day, and I was like, dude. He's like, oh, I hate my body. I don't like how I look. I'm like, dude, but it's your body. At some point, you're just going to have to accept it and either try to change it or just love it the way it is. You know, it is what it is.
I agree. And except for when my kid, as I'm laying him down to bed, they're in bunk beds, the one on the bottom bunk, so my shirt goes, yep, still fat, and puts my shirt back down. Out of nowhere, just no reason, and he's not trying to be mean. He's like, "Yep, that's still a big fat belly."
I mean, I guess he's got to check, right?
Yeah, just want to make sure.
It's like tugging on Santa's beard, dude.
Right. So, yeah, taking that energy and we'll apply it to this. So we're gonna talk Digimon today, and
yes.
So Digimon's got a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons. Just to kind of put it in context for everybody, and I think even you weren't born when the show started, right?
No, I was.
Were you?
I was.
You were very young, right?
Little bitty Carl.
So for me, it was in the middle of my grade school, or whatever you call it, grade school age, and so Pokemon was already huge, right? Like that was a massive thing. Not only the game, but the show and the card game as well. And I believe it was just a little bit before Yu-Gi-Oh! Hit.
Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like 2002, 2003.
It was middle school for me. Sorry, I'm putting things in, just so when I sort out in my head, I can kind of contextualize it and figure it out. But yeah, so and then obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Was fucking massive when it hit too, and Digimon, at least in my little section of the country in the world. It was there and people liked it, but it was almost like a weird, it was either people really liked it because it wasn't Pokemon and they wanted to be the early version of hipsters, yeah, or they're just like they hated it because it wasn't Pokemon. Like this is just ripping off Pokemon, and I really think that was unfair. I liked both. I collected the cards for Pokemon and for Digimon. But I always found Digimon, at least at the time, because the Pokemon was still in the OG 150, maybe just getting close to the Gold and Silver release.
Yeah,
the
that's
ones.
about right.
And I found Digimon to be more creative. Not that Pokemon wasn't creative, but Digimon, because of it set in the digital universe and it being, I guess, not technically realistic because you're in a computerized universe.
Right.
It had less restraints on it, which allowed it to be a little more creative or have just less boundaries. And that's why I collected the cards. I actually don't know. I've never played at all the Digimon game, card game. But I loved collecting the fucking cards. They were so much fun to find all these different kinds of monsters.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and what was your draw to Digimon?
So, okay, I'll just level with you. When I was a kid, and I mean, I'm talking like really little. I was like probably kindergarten, preschool. Excuse me, kindergarten, preschool age. That's when like Digimon, Pokemon was like really big for me anyway. And what was really cool about it, or well, I guess what kind of sucked. I'll just level with you. I was firmly Camp Pokemon because I wasn't really allowed to watch Digimon at the time. I my parents, especially my mom, is God, I can't speak tonight. Is very religious, and because of that, she would see things like I know. Well, now I'm a fan of Digimon, but it was like there are things like Devimon and Diaboromon and Beelzesmon, and it's like, oh, those are literally like
but
devil
there was
things.
Angelmon, and was it she Angelmon or some really
Angelmon.
Angelmon, yeah.
Yeah, but that didn't matter to them. All they saw was, the demons, and they're like, "Oh, we can't let our son watch this." So they didn't allow me to watch it. So I was firmly Camp Pokemon, and because I feel like I almost had like a resentment towards the show when I was younger because I wasn't allowed to watch it. Like I wanted to watch it, but because my parents wouldn't allow me to watch it, I hated it. And I just like dug myself into Camp Pokemon deeper. Because it was like, oh, well, if I can't watch it, then nobody else should be able to enjoy it. Because that's what 5-year-old logic is. And,
I mean, that's perfectly normal, actually.
Right. And the draw for me really didn't come in until, like, later in life when, honestly, it was basically, like, 3 years ago, or, like, 4 years ago, the person that I'm with currently, she is super into Digimon, and I remember she had me download a mobile game that she was playing, and it was called Digimon Links. It's now since shut down, but she tried to get me to play it. I didn't particularly like it, and then while I was actually studying abroad in Germany, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm a big boy. I'm living on my own. I can do what I want. I'm going to watch Digimon. And so I did. And I really liked the first anime, and I thought it was really well written. I liked all the character developments, and the designs are super creative and extremely cool. And it was like reliving my childhood in a weird way, because it was like I never got to experience this as a kid, and I always wanted to, and other kids got to around me, and I got to experience it for the first time as like a young adult. So.
Okay, so I want to piggyback on that.
Sure.
I love that you got the chance to do it, and you started with the first season, which is surprisingly long. I had it looked up earlier, but I think it was over like 40 episodes.
Yeah, it's 53.
Yeah. So it was. I don't remember if all animes were like that. I think Pokemon was the same way too, because I thought the first. Anyway, sorry, getting off track.
Long.
It's long. And speaking of long. My very first. This is a really weird story, and I've told it before, but Digimon was the plot of Digimon and some of the characters were actually the source of my very first sex dream. Really fucking weird. Yeah, I think I told it to you.
You did tell this to me because we talked about the Digimon card game one time.
Right. Just to tell this really awkward story. So I was an early bloomer, so this was like 5th grade for me, so I don't even think I was double digits, right? I don't remember how old I was in 5th grade, like 9, 10?
Like 10? I don't know, dude.
So my first, and obviously like, my only real exposure to like sexy women was anime. Like and I told it before, but like when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, like I wrote fanfic with a friend of mine about Taya because she wore a short skirt, was very cute, and had. And not that what makes a woman, but as a kid, she had giant boobs. I'm like,
yes.
I think I'm supposed to like those. Those are massive. I don't see those in my everyday life. And like the internet really wasn't like a thing I understood yet. Or I don't even like we had a computer that really could like use the internet at that point. So I was like, oh, like this is where I see those. I like this. Anyway, I don't remember. It was one of the female characters, and then obviously it was like it wasn't necessarily a sex dream, but it was like a sexy dream. Like, oh, this is my girlfriend, and I get to kiss her and stuff. Really fucking weird. But anyway, like I want to talk a little bit about the first season before we talk about the very first game. It was incredible. The meme I see about Digimon in relation to Pokemon was like. The evolution of a Pokemon.
Did I send that to you?
It was on your Twitter.
Yes, I did retweet it.
Yes. But I'm stealing it like it's my own original idea. So it's like a cat for Pokemon evolution. It's like a cat, and then
a slightly bigger cat.
Yeah, like a cougar, mountain lion, and then it's like a lion. Is the third evolution for Digimon. It's a kitten, and then it's a Velociraptor, and then it's like a mech tank with a giant machine gun. And that's again, I mentioned a little bit earlier with like how it just had no restraints. I fucking love that. It was so much fun. Like some of the evolutions or Digivolutions, did make sense. Like and I'm not gonna remember names or get names wrong, so anybody has an issue with it, tweet out. The cactus one turned into a giant cactus, right?
Togemon or Palmon turned into a Togemon. That's the plant one, and then the cactus one.
And then Agumon was the dinosaur, right?
Yes.
Turned into Greymon.
Yes.
And then I always liked the one who did Blue Blaster for his attack.
Garurumon.
Garurumon. I liked him, and his made sense. And I also like the male lead.
Tai,
and the other male lead.
Matt.
I liked that, like, they were kind of bros, and it never was like a pissing contest.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to like Brok and Ash.
It was.
To where, like, I like when it doesn't have to be toxic for dudes. Like, yes, obviously as dudes, we are more likely to compete or be stupid, but it doesn't necessarily have to be unhealthy
all the time.
Or yeah, and like they just Tai and Matt seem to almost have philosophical differences. It was just like, hey man, I'm more like chill and zen, and Tai was more like, let's let's go fuck shit up.
Like a type A and a type B personality.
Yeah, but they never like you're wrong or I'm right. It was
there was never like the sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
there was never like the Goku Vegeta like I hate you, you hate me. At first, right?
Right.
Like I hate you, you hate me. We have to fight each other. It never felt like the typical anime rivalry, because it really wasn't. They were still friends. It was just like, we don't really see eye to eye on certain things, but it's okay because we're all in this together.
Right. And I love that. And as someone who's raising 3 young boys, the less this, obviously they should be able to figure out, yeah, that's toxic, it's bad, but I want to just have as many good examples of what masculinity really should be and how they should treat each other, and they're bros. Also, with that first season, my personal favorite Digimon in that first season was Patamon, who only evolved once or twice in that season to be Angemon. Yeah, and with the bubble pop move.
Oh yeah, boom bubble pop.
Yes, it was so cute, and I just really liked that he just he couldn't do it, and then he did it when it fucking counted. I just there's so much about that first season. I don't remember if Ty's sister, when she comes in, if that was that technically first season still, right?
Yeah, that's first season. She's in the first season, but
like very, 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 very late, right? Because she's only like roughly, and then she gets the cat one.
Gatomon.
Yeah, that's a kind of a lazy name that I think
it is a little bit. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about the first season real quick.
Let's keep on it. It's good stuff.
Everyone really loves Avatar for like the character development, right?
Right.
But they really overlook the first season of Digimon, like, because Digimon is like the antithesis of the anti-anime. The main character, like the quote-unquote main character, who is Tai, is headstrong, cocky, he feels like he can do it all, and by the end of it, he's questioning all of that. He has no idea if he can do it. He doesn't know if he's worthy of doing it. He doesn't know if he's strong enough, but he knows he's in a situation, and he needs to rise to the occasion, right? It's not like the opposite way in most animes where it's like, he is the main character, he will rise to the occasion, it'll be okay. It's like the complete antithesis of that. And then you have all these other characters who have no idea, like Joe, the guy who has Gomamon, the blue hair kid, feels useless for like basically the first half of the first season, and then like slowly the group begins to realize like what Joe's purpose is. Why is Joe here? Well, Joe is he's like old reliable Joe. Like you call him when you need something done, or when you need like a band-aid or something. Like he's like the group's medic in a weird way. And the character development really, it struggles back and forth between this, like, we want to be, I mean, sure, there are like cheesy moments in it, like, ooh, the power of friendship, and there's moments like that, like you were talking about with like Patamon digivolving. But in those moments, they don't just take it to boost like a certain character. They also tear the other characters down. So like in that fight specifically, where the Digidestined are they encounter Devimon, who is like the big baddie of the first half of the first season. They all try as hard as they can to beat him, including Tai, who is, you know, the main character, and they all get their butts whooped. And then you know, TK, who is Padamon's tamer and Matt's little brother, rises to the occasion, and Padamon, that everybody underestimated, was able to do it. So like, not only are you boosting up this other character and developing that character through growth, they also develop characters through demoralizing them, which is really freaking cool to see in a show, because you almost never see that, where it's like, if a character if a character takes a loss, they don't hold that L, you know what I mean? Like if Goku gets beat up, he's just like, ooh, okay, whatever, I'll just get stronger. But in Digimon, it was like Tai got beat up and he's like, ooh, I need to think about that. Like, why did this happen? Am I good enough? Is my leadership correct? Did I make the right decision here? It's just really freaking good. People should watch it. It's so underrated.
Yeah, and it's going to be back on Netflix relatively soon. When I was searching it, I don't remember the exact date. For those of you who don't, you know, pirate things and all
Yarg.
that, yeah. It was like, you talk about that holding the L and how that's really a really good lesson. I remember the 2010s adaptation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
was really good about that. Which was like the 3D one, and it was, honestly, it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's insanely underrated. The amount of work and effort and care that went in that show's so fucking good, especially if you're a Turtles fan. And those characters do hold on to things. They hold on to losses. They lose people, friends, and it's not a one-off thing where they forget about it. It comes up. It matters to their character development.
Right.
And Digimon did a great job of that. I can't remember all the arcs, as it's been a long time, but it was special. It was a very special show. And what I think, it wasn't better or worse than the first season of Pokemon. The first season of Pokemon, I think, deserved to be where it was too, because it did have Ash was fucking dumb. He was bullheaded and he did dumb shit all the time.
Right.
And what was good about the first season of Pokemon was he had to adjust. He had Misty, and Brok would be like, hey, you're being fucking dumb. And he'd be like, no, I'm not being dumb. And then he would get knocked in his ass. And be like, oh, I am being dumb.
Right.
I should listen to my friends because they're just trying to help me and they're not being smartasses. And not that the shows are bad now, but now he is just super in tune with all of his Pokemon. He is so
basically
smart.
A Mary Sue.
Yeah, and there's no character development for him. Like, they kind of try to, but it's not really the same because
it never sticks after that season's over.
Right. It's just like, it's I can't remember the TV show term for it, but
a floating timeline.
Yeah, and like a really important lesson for kids to learn is, like you said, that holding on to that L. Like, you will get knocked on your ass, and it will fucking suck. But learning from that and, being able to use that as a foundation for what you're building is important. Not because, like, with the current Ash, he kind of knows everything already, and he doesn't really fail.
Right, and even if he does get knocked on his ass, it's like one training montage later, and it's like, okay, I win.
Or I'll just try harder because I care about my Pokemon more.
Exactly.
It's a little bit frustrating. Not that, again, like, XY was fucking incredible. I love XY. But, like, most of the newer stuff is kind of rough like that.
Yeah.
So, one more thing, and then I do want to talk about at least one Digimon game.
Sure.
Do you remember Tamagotchis?
I do. I never had one because, they were demons in my parents' eyes, but I do remember them, and I'll tell you about something I bought once we progress a little more.
Okay. So Tamagotchis became huge. I when I was very, very young, I remember getting a orange Tamagotchi that had a cat in it. I loved that thing to death. But the coolest one that came out a couple years later after the Tamagotchi phase was the little Digimon, like, badge things. I can't remember what they're called now. Digivice. Straight up Digivice with the see-through plastic, like the cool Nintendos. and it was a Digivice. So you literally, your Digimon would evolve after you did stuff with them, and you walked so many steps and all that.
Yep.
And it would do the little like little thing shooting up in the sky on the little screen, and it was fucking incredible. I just wanted to remind people that those existed. And
I mean, technically that is a video game, right?
yeah, that's
So,
video game.
So I'll tell you about something that I just recently bought. It's called the Digimon Vital Bracelet. It is like a Fitbit, except you get to raise Digimon through it. I found out about it because Fitbit got... Huh? Sorry?
I'm going to Google that right now.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about it. So I found out about it because I had been trying to get rid of my Fitbit forever. I like having something to count my steps, and I like wearing a watch. So I've been trying to find an alternative because Fitbit got bought out by Google, and I don't really appreciate Google or big tech that much. I think that, I just don't appreciate it. So I wanted to migrate away from Fitbit, migrate away from Google, and I was just browsing YouTube one day, got recommended to me the trailer for the Digimon Vital Bracelet, and it is essentially a Digimon Fitbit where the more steps you take, the higher your heart rate is, the more powerful your Digimon that you're training will grow. And it's really freaking cool. You have different cards that you like insert into the watch to get the Digimon that you want. So it's not just like a one-time like, oh, I bought the Agumon one. It's like, no, okay, I have the watch, now I can put in like Agumon and Gabumon and Patamon and all the other different Digimon. Basically, it's really freaking cool. I love it. Yeah. I bought them as anniversary gifts for my girlfriend and myself as like a cute little couple thing, like, oh, because you can also battle with them. You can battle your Digimon with them.
So fucking cool.
So I bought them for my girlfriend and I as like, oh, this is a cute little couple thing to do. What she doesn't realize, though, is that I am extremely competitive. I will win.
That's right, and you should treat her like, equally, in that if she doesn't train hard enough, you can kick her ass in Digimon.
Exactly, that's what I've been doing. And it's just really freaking cool. So if you're interested in it, Google the Digimon Vital Brace. Yeah. It's only been released in Japan, and obviously I don't think it's going to get a worldwide release because we haven't even gotten like Tamagotchis here in the States in years.
Right. So
it's a very exclusive thing, only released in Japan. But luckily, everything that you need to know is in English, and like the app is super intuitive. So it's if you're looking for a Fitbit and you want to have a little bit more fun with it, buy this. It's like $60. It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
I'm on the website and they spell it out all pretty well, and it's incredible. Like it kind of reminds me of Pokemon Go, but like it's more in tune with your actual weight loss or more with like your body than just getting
yeah, exactly. It really is. It's super super cool. I love it. I'm so happy I bought them. Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, I need an anniversary gift. What am I going to do? And I was like, hey, wait a second. And I just took the plunge on it. I spent way too much money because I got us the actual, like, bracelets themselves, and then the Agumon and the Gabumon dim cards, which are the cards that you need to get the Digimon. So, I gave her the Gabumon one, and I kept the Agumon one. And we've been having a blast with it. So, I mean, if you want to get one and start using it as a motivator, I won't lie, it's a pretty good motivator to get out there and walk.
I gotta get some people that will do it with me around here, though.
I mean, eventually they're gonna have online battles too. So,
all right, well, when that happens, I will pick one up so we can battle.
Then I can kick your ass too.
That's fine as long as it's motivating me to keep working. I'm cool with it. So the game I want to get to as we get going to the video game parts of this is the very first Digimon game released, Digimon World, which was released for the PlayStation and right around 2000 in the US. And I just want to give a little personal background on the story. I love Digimon. Like, I was pretty obsessed with it at this point. And you could buy the player's guide before this game came out. So I remember buying the player's guide, or having my mom buy the player's guide. And like during the summer, we'd drive around a lot, see family around the state. So we would drive a lot. And all I did was read this player's guide. I took it everywhere because I wanted to be an expert at this game by the time I got it.
Dude, you wanted to be a Digimon master.
I did. And you know what? This is one of those times where there was hype for a game, and I was not disappointed. The game, I still think, like, looking at playthrough and stuff, I think it looks pretty solid for a PlayStation game. I really think it held up pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't really get to, I got to play it a little bit at a friend's house. Weird backstory on that. His mom and dad were divorced, and his mom wanted to be like the cool one, so she basically bought him like every single video game console known to man. And he had the game, and so I got to play it a little bit there, but I was so young, I didn't really like understand what was going on. You know what I mean?
Right. And it was hard, even like playing it and doing it. It was not an easy game. You had to do very specific things to get certain Digimon evolutions.
Right.
And if you messed them up, like lost certain battles, whatever, it would happen. And if you died, your Pokemon, your Digimon reset to the very, very first stage, and you have to bring it up again and again. And the battles were fucking hard. And they weren't like Pokemon where, someone sees you, the little thing flashes, and you're in a battle. It was real time. It was within the game.
Yeah.
As you're trying to figure out secrets and doing all this stuff. So, again, it was not easy at all. It sold well enough in North America to become a platinum, or greatest hits in North America.
Yeah.
But I'm looking, and almost all the reviews are 5 out of 10, 5.8 out of 10, 2 out of 5, which kind of blows my mind that it, I guess because it was hard and it didn't tell you anything. So if you didn't have a player's guide, I could see how it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, I could see how it's like unintuitive, because I was watching a little bit of not really a playthrough, but just like a let's play, like for fun, to kind of like remind myself of what the game was all about. And it was like, oh wow, this is really complicated. If I was like 11, I wouldn't know what to do.
Right. But and I don't know, maybe because I was just so excited to have a Digimon game.
Yeah.
That it didn't faze me. I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this. The only thing I remember having issues with was saving, but I think that might have been because I was a small child, and how that goes, where you just sometimes you just forget how to do shit.
Do you remember the Digimon Rumble Arena games?
I never played them, so
no,
not
dude.
out of want though, because I think when those games started coming out, it was just like
you were already past it.
Well, I wasn't necessarily past it, but so where I lived, there was not Family Video. It was Circus Video was like the locally owned one, and then there was it wasn't Family Video, but it was a Video Value, Family Value, or something like that, or it was a blue and orange video chain, but they knocked the local place out of business, and then they jacked up their prices. So I just never I there was like a couple years span there where I quit. Or I couldn't really rent video games because it was so fucking expensive to do it, and my parents didn't really want to buy them because this shit's expensive too. So yeah, no, it was right in that area where and so like if I did pick a game, it was going to be something I could play with usually friends or something like that. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So I actually got to play them again over at the same friend's house. And back then, again, I didn't really know what was going on because I was so little at the time. You have to remember, it was like 1999. So I was like 5-6 years old. So I really didn't know what was going on. And but now I recently downloaded, or let's just say I found a way to play the Digimon Rumble Arena games. And it's literally Smash Bros. But with Digimon.
That's beautiful. I love
Dude,
that.
It's so nice. It's so cool. You should definitely find a way to download and play it.
You mean perfectly legally find a way to do it? Yep.
Yes.
Sure can. Sure can do that.
And if you can't find a reasonable or a reputable place, then let me know, and I will help you. I will assist you in finding ways to play the game.
It will only be a reasonable and legal place, because we are good, God-fearing folk here on Damage Boost Podcast.
That is absolutely correct. I don't mess around with any of those sketchy. CoolRoms.com, be gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We definitely won't accidentally slip any of that stuff in, and subliminally for anyone to figure out what we're talking about. Before we start wrapping up, there was a season of because I tried to watch a couple of the later seasons of Digimon, and it was a very similar experience to my Pokemon watching.
It is exactly the same,
right? To where, and like and we talked about this. I fucking hated Yu-Gi-Oh after the second season. Holy shit,
yes.
I really hated those. But like I couldn't. It just felt weird. I don't know if they were trying too hard, or I just the novelty worn off, but it was hard. But there was a season on Netflix, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm getting if it's the right season. But I think it was Digimon Fusion that was on Netflix like a year or two ago. No, it was 3. It would have been 3. It would have been 3 years ago. And the plot of it was there was the main character, and I think they could combine different ones, but the world had been divided up in like different sections, and they're trying to win it back from the bad guy because he was trying to take
Cross Wars.
Is that sounds really religious?
It does, doesn't it? But that's the one where with Shoutmon, right, the little red guy.
I cannot remember. I remember there was an episode where on like a train that's alive, and there was 2 other people that were in like the first season for a little bit, and then they're just kind of gone. They go back into the main world for a while.
Maybe we're thinking about the different. We might be thinking about like different ones.
I'm looking at the Pokemon. God, I keep saying Pokemon. I'm looking at the Digimon. I swear it's Fusion, but I very much could be wrong.
Look at Digimon Cross Wars. It's literally spelled like with an X and then ROSS.
Digimon Cross Wars. So it might. I just see it's recorrecting Cross Wars to Fusion. So is that this? I think it's the same thing.
Okay, yeah, I think it's the same thing. Then.
So okay, yeah, no, it was Digimon Fusion then. I actually really liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised because I started off like with my kids like, Daddy, it's Digimon, because they had watched the first season with me. Watch this one, and I was like, yeah, I guess we're fucking watching fucking stupid modern shit. Yeah. And it took a couple episodes, but it kind of charmed me. I was like, okay, like yeah, it didn't. It's really dumb, but I was kind of frustrated that it didn't follow the rules of what I knew it to be.
Yeah, yeah, like, oh, you have to digivolve this way.
Something that I've been told, and it makes a lot of sense when they do these remakes and all that, is that it's not made for you anymore.
That's right.
And sometimes it's hard to let that go. And this is one of those times where I finally let it go, and I had fun. Because I was like, oh, my kids are having fun. Maybe I shouldn't be a prick about this. Maybe I shouldn't, old man yells at cloud this whole situation, and just appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, I watched season 1. I watched season 2. I really enjoyed season 3. I got to Fusion, and I don't know. I didn't particularly like that one that much. I thought it was okay. I just thought it was really, really repetitive. It felt more like a Saturday morning cartoon to me, which
it definitely was, yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this is just made for the kids, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. But at the same time, I expect a little bit more from Digimon, because they've also done things like Digimon Adventure Tri, which is basically it revolves around the main characters from the first season, but they're all like grown up, and it's really, really good. If you haven't watched it, you should watch Digimon Adventure Tri, and it's just really good. So, I don't know, when it comes to... I guess there was, like, that weird period in Digimon where it was, like... It appealed to the kids in, like, the 90s.
Right.
And then they continued to try to appeal to the kids all the way up until, like... I think it was, like, in 2008 when Digimon finally stopped airing in the United States. And then after that, they were like, okay, we need to stop, regroup. Obviously, this isn't working for this generation anymore. And then they kind of, like, refocused it onto the same generation that watched it for season 1 and 2.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So at least that's how I feel. Maybe it's different in Japan. Maybe it's still like definitely like a little kid show, but I don't know. That at least that's how I felt.
I will definitely have to check it out, because I think, I don't know, it's complicated, because I do want to be less, and it's not gatekeeper-y, but I do want to be less like, I want things this way, and be more open to, like, could it be this way? Or maybe I'll like it if it's different.
Sure.
But it's harder, especially the older you get, and you have less time, so you want what you want, You want something... You don't want to risk wasting your time, for lack of a better phrase.
That is true.
So I definitely check it out. I what I would love to see is Is there? You probably answer this question for me.
Sure.
I would love to see, like you said, it's no longer on, but I would like to see maybe kind of a soft reboot of it through a mobile game again, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links or something like that. Like, hey, you mentioned the game you played earlier, to exist again, so I could get into, because I don't want to. As much as I would love to say, like, yeah, give me a game on the Switch or something. I'm not gonna buy a Digimon game, unfortunately. Yeah. The strengths. Unless it's something similar to that original game, which nobody's going to make a game like that right now, because that was very, very Monster Rancher-esque.
It was like Animal. It was like Animal Crossing, but with Digimon.
Right, and it's just not going to happen. So I would love to see kind of and I really hate even wanting a mobile game, so that kind of makes me feel dirty.
Well, there is a mobile game.
Oh, I thought you said it was debunked, or like
there was one that they were that they were supporting, and then they kind of were like, okay, this game isn't going anywhere, so they have since changed it. It's called Digimon Re-Arise.
Okay, all right. Then
It is very complicated and very time investing if you want to get good at it. Yeah. So I don't know if I could recommend it to anybody who doesn't really want to play it. But now that you mentioned like a reboot, they actually did reboot the first season of the anime in Japan.
I don't know if I want that though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't want that retold necessarily. That worries me.
Yeah, that's fair. And I've heard like mixed reviews about the reboot as well, that it's not as good as the original. But then again, lightning doesn't strike twice,
Right. So I maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, if you want to download it, it's called Digimon Re-Arise. It's fun, just until you start taking it like really competitively, then it's like, oh no. How much time did I just invest into this?
Can you promise me it won't burn me like Duel Links did when I try to play people?
Yes, I can promise you that, because they start you out playing against people at your skill level.
Oh, thank God.
And then you don't play against other people who are really good until you have Digimon of that level.
That's good. That's good news. I like to hear that.
But then once you make it to, we'll just call it like the S rank. Once you make it to S rank, it's just like, oh my God.
Damn. So I guess with that being said, this is a little bit shorter of an episode for Damage Boost this week, just because life is crazy right now. Working in a school and district with COVID and the year winding down. Some people have also gotten sick at my job, so it's kind of crazy. I'm working all the time, but I really appreciate you coming on, Carl.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody who hasn't experienced Carl on the show before, go back and listen to the other episodes with him. Go look at his Twitter, his podcast, his everything. He is just a charming dude that you will, once you get a little bit, you're gonna want more.
That is absolutely true. Once you have a taste of Carl, you always come back for more.
I thought you were gonna rhyme there for a second. I was interested to see where it was gonna go.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that rhymes with Carl other than like Jarl.
Yeah, I don't know how you fit that in. I'm gonna think of something, and if next episode we do together, we're gonna have to do that. All right. Anything you want to plug before we go?
Not really. You can go and follow me on Twitter. It's at Carl's YouTube. I post funny memes. You can also follow my buddy Nathaniel Bandy if you've heard of him. I'm sure you have. On his YouTube channel. It's just Nathaniel Bandy. And go and check out the Minus World YouTube channel as well. They do a lot of cool videos, and they don't get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, they're honestly, the Minus World videos are the highlight of my week on YouTube.
They're super good. And nobody watches them. I don't get it.
Super charming. I don't know, people are weird. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's one of those things that just gotta hit that right. It's gonna click at the right moment. So
here's hoping.
Yep. For Damage Boost Pod on Twitter, Damage Boost Podcast on TikTok and Twitch.
Wait, really?
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually got stuff.
Since when?
Oh, a couple months at least.
What?
It's mostly just stream highlights and clips from the podcast.
You're not dancing?
No, but I did buy a little phone rig thing. So I can start making ones where I can actually I want to do facts and video game facts and or should you play this game kind of like mini videos, because I want to build up to YouTube stuff eventually. Just video editing's It's a monster.
It's rough to get into. I won't lie.
So yeah, no, you should follow me on TikTok if you haven't.
I don't have TikTok. I'm sorry.
Get one and then follow me.
I just told you I was scared of big tech. What makes you think I downloaded TikTok?
Because I mean, there's lots of reasons that we could talk about off the air. They're mostly sexy. All right, so with that being said, thank you again, Carl. I always appreciate it, buddy.
Of course, dude. Thank you for having me on.
All right, everybody, be good people.